Dr. V. Anita Rani, Associate Professor of Chemistry from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So we are going to discuss question bank, module 3, engineering materials. So we are having 3 parts. Part A, short answer questions. Part B, long answer questions. Part C, problem solving and critical thinking questions. So part A, short answer questions. First one, what are polymers? Compare homopolymer and copolymer with example. So what are polymers means? We know that polymers are prepared by adding a number of monomers. For example, we are adding a number of ethylene molecules by applying heat, pressure and catalyst using catalyst benzoyl peroxide. So what we are going to prepare is polyethylene. So what is a polymer means? Polymer is, it is a large molecule. It is a large molecule. So formed by adding a number of small molecules called monomers. So compare homopolymer and copolymer. There are 2 types of polymers, homopolymer and copolymer. So homopolymer means we will take same kind of monomers. For example, we can take the example here, polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, polystyrene. All these are homopolymers, because here what we are taking here, we are taking a number of ethylene molecules, same kind of monomers we are taking, and we are preparing polymer, polyethylene. Polyvinyl chloride we are preparing, taking a number of vinyl chloride molecules. We are preparing polystyrene by taking here same kind of monomers, that is a number of small molecules, styrene molecules. So here we can write here, compare homopolymer and copolymer. Homopolymer is prepared by taking the same kind of monomers, example polyethylene. Copolymer, polymers are prepared by taking copolymers, 2 different monomers. 2 different monomers we will take and will prepare here polymers. For example, nylon 6,6, bunized rubber. So nylon 6,6 and bunized rubber, we are taking 2 different monomers. So for example, when we take nylon 6,6, we are going to take 2 different monomers, adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. So what we can prepare here, nylon 6,6. That is a copolymer. So copolymer is nothing but polymers are prepared by taking 2 different monomers. So compare between homopolymer and copolymer. Homopolymer means same kind of monomers, same type of the molecules. Copolymer means different type of the molecules, different type of the monomers, and will prepare the polymer. Homopolymer, we can take the example polyethylene. So next, write any 2 examples for addition and condensation polymerization with their respective monomers. So 2 examples for addition polymerization and condensation polymerization. So addition polymerization, we can take these 2 examples. For example, example 1, that is the polyethylene. Example 2, we can write polyvinyl chloride. So for addition, we can write polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride. And for condensation polymers, condensation polymerization, what we can write here, monomers, we can write nylon 6,6, and we can write bakelite. So here write 2 examples for addition polymerization, polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, and condensation polymerization with their respective monomers. So we have to write the monomers, then we have to write the polymer. So first we have to write the monomer, then we have to write the polymer. So 2 examples we have to give for addition polymerization and 2 examples for condensation polymerization. Condensation polymerization, nylon 6,6 and bakelite. Now third one, compare addition polymerization and condensation polymerization with example. So what is the difference between addition polymerization and condensation polymerization? Addition polymerization means here we are adding a number of monomers, a number of small molecules and applying heat and pressure and catalyst and we'll get the polymer. For example, we are preparing polythene cover, polyethylene. Polyethylene is obtained by adding a number of small molecules. Polyvinyl chloride is prepared by adding a number of small molecules, vinyl chloride molecules. So that is undergoing like addition polymerization or it is called chain polymerization. Example, polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, polystyrene. So next, condensation polymerization with example. So condensation polymerization, we can take the example. We can take here nylon 66. We are taking adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine, and removal of the water molecule. So what we can prepare by removing the water molecule? By condensing the two different monomers, that is adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine, we are going to prepare nylon 66. So that is the example we can write for here condensation polymerization. So difference between So here difference between addition polymerization and condensation polymerization. Addition polymerization, no byproducts are obtained. Condensation polymerization, byproducts are obtained like small molecules H2O, HCl. So like 2-3 differences we have to write. Next, fourth one, what are plastics? Compare thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. So plastics means, what are plastics means? So we can take, these are the polymer materials. We can go for fabrication into many articles. So we will take in plastics, we will take resins, polymer material, and we will add some other ingredients, that is called plastic. So there are two types of plastics, thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. So thermoplastics means, for example, polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride. So these polymer materials, these are having weak bonds between the small molecules. Weak bonds are formed. So these kind of polymers, that is polyvinyl chloride and polystyrene or polyethylene, when you are heating polythene cover, when we are heating polythene cover, what happens? We'll get a soft material. Means these kind of plastics, thermoplastics, when we are heating, that becomes soft. When we are cooling, the material will become hard. That is the comparison. Thermosetting resin means when we are preparing the polymer material, for example, bakelite. When we are preparing bakelite by taking phenol and formaldehyde, we are getting a material, we are getting a polymer given the name bakelite. So that polymer, when we are preparing itself, we get like a hard polymer. Why means here a strong covalent bond is formed between the small molecules. So when we are heating these kind of polymers, it does not become soft. It does not become soft when we are applying heat. It remains as it is because of the presence of the covalent bond, strong covalent bonds between the molecules. So we have to write comparison or difference between thermoplastics and thermosetting. So thermoplastic resins, we can reuse it again. We can go for recycling. Whereas thermosetting resins, we cannot reuse. We cannot go for recycling process. So next one, here we have to write monomers used in polyvinyl chloride and nylon 66. So you can see here what are the monomers we used. In polyvinyl chloride we used vinyl chloride. So we have to write this vinyl chloride structure we have to write, and we have to write nylon 66. So what we are going to use monomers, adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine monomers we have to write. So next one is write the preparation and write the properties and applications of bakelite. So properties of bakelite means bakelite, it is a strong and tough polymer, and here it is resistant to atmosphere, O2, CO2, moisture, light, sunlight, and it is resistant to chemicals. it is having good abrasion resistance. All these properties we can write. Applications of bakelite means we can use bakelite material, polymer material. We can make a switchboard, plugs. So we can write some applications. So next one, write the preparation and applications of PVC. Preparation. How to prepare PVC? Already we discussed. We are adding a number of vinyl chloride molecules and we will use the catalyst benzoyl peroxide and will apply heat and pressure. We'll prepare the polyvinyl chloride. So preparation of PVC and applications of PVC. So PVC, polyvinyl chloride we will use and will make the raincoat, tablecloth curtains, and we can make helmet. So some other applications are there. Some we can write 5 to 6 applications of PVC. So next one, what are the functions of plasticizers and fillers in compounding of plastics? So plasticizers we will add in compounding of plastics to increase the plasticity and flexibility of the plastic material. So we will take polymer material resin. For example, we are taking PVC, polyvinyl chloride. So to the polymer material, that is the PVC, polyvinyl chloride, we are going to add plasticizer to increase the plasticity and flexibility. So it becomes soft material. It becomes soft material. We can go for manufacturing or we can go for fabrication into any equipment. So here we are making rubber. We are making the pipes by using polyvinyl chloride. So this is the process of plasticizers. We are adding tricresyl phosphate as a plasticizer, where it will neutralize the polymer chains. So here you can see the plasticizer molecules. So that is here in between the polymer chains, where increasing the flexibility and plasticity. So next one, fillers in compounding of plastics. So we will add silica carbide, carborundum, that is called carborundum. We will add here as a filler in compounding of plastics. In polymer material we will add to improve the hardness of the plastics. For example, we are making a plastic bottle. When we want to go for manufacturing of plastic bottle or fabrication of plastic bottle, so we have to get a here we need hard material. Okay, so we will add fillers. So fillers, it will improve the hardness of the plastics. Next, what are biodegradable polymers? The polymers which will undergo degradation or decomposition in presence of bacteria that are called biodegradable polymers. So example, polylactic acid. Some polymers, synthetic polymers, are not biodegradable. If you are throwing the polyethylene cover in the soil, it won't decompose and leads to the soil pollution. But biodegradable polymer, so biodegradable polymers are polymers which will undergo degradation in the presence of the bacteria, are known as biodegradable polymers. Write the advantages of biodegradable polymers. So very good advantage. First advantage itself, here we can minimize or we can reduce the pollution in the environment, and this biodegradable polymers we can prepare biodegradable polymers, for example from the corn and from some other plants. We can prepare the biodegradable polymers. So next one, 11th one, state the monomers used in making the thiol rubber and bunized rubber. So what are the monomers used in bunized rubber and thiol rubber? So in bunized rubber, so here bunized rubber, we are using 1,3-butadiene and styrene, and we are joining these two different molecules and adding a catalyst, sodium catalyst, and applying heat, undergoing polymerization process, and we are preparing the bunized rubber. So thiol rubber, it is very simple. We have to take the sodium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide pellets and sulfur powder, and we will add ethylene dichloride and will prepare the thiol rubber. So here we have to write the monomers. We have to write state the monomers, only monomers. For bunized rubber, 1,3-butadiene, 1,3 butadiene, 1,3 butadiene plus styrene. So these are the monomers for bunized rubber. For thiol rubber, sodium polysulfide, sodium polysulfide and ethylene dichloride, ethylene dichloride, ethylene dichloride, ethylene dichloride. Structures we have to write, not the names. We have to write the structures. In this way, monomers we have to write. Okay. So here, these are the structures we have to write. Monomers, ethylene dichloride and sodium polysulfide. So these two are monomers we are using in preparation of the thiol rubber. So next one, write the properties and applications of natural rubber. What are the properties of natural rubber? Means natural rubber we cannot use at a high temperature. We can write the temperature 10 degrees centigrade to 60 degrees centigrade. It is a soft rubber. It is not resistant to chemicals. It is not resistant to atmospheric conditions. So these are some of the properties. It cannot bear the load. When we are applying heavy load, it cannot bear the load. Applications of natural rubber, we can manufacture toys, and we can manufacture tires, and we can manufacture cushions, pillows, etc. Next one, what is natural rubber? Natural rubber, it is we can prepare from milky emulsion liquid latex, and we are preparing here by adding acetic acid. Polymerization process will be taking place, and we prepare the natural rubber. That is known as it is a combination of the isoprene units. So when we go for polymerization process, we will get the polyisoprene. Natural rubber is nothing but polyisoprene. So write the disadvantages of natural rubber. So disadvantages of natural rubber means like we cannot use at high temperature natural rubber, and it is very soft rubber. It is not resistant to chemicals. It is not resistant to atmospheric conditions, and it cannot bear the load. All these are disadvantages of natural rubber. Now explain why natural rubber needs vulcanization and how it is carried out. So why we have to go for vulcanization process? You have to write why we have to go for vulcanization process. Means because natural rubber is a soft rubber. So to improve the hardness of rubber, we have to add to the natural rubber, we have to add the chemical, we have to use the chemical sulfur. Okay, when we add to the natural rubber sulfur and maintaining the temperature 100 to 140 degrees centigrade, we can prepare the vulcanized rubber. So to convert soft rubber into hard rubber, or to improve the hardness of the rubber, hardness of the like a raw rubber, we will go for vulcanization process. How it is carried out means we have to write the process. So this is vulcanization process. We have to write these reactions. So we are taking here raw rubber. This is the polyisoprene. We are adding sulfur. So we will get the here vulcanized rubber. So this is vulcanized rubber. Vulcanized rubber. This is natural rubber. So to the natural rubber we are adding sulfur. So we'll get the vulcanized rubber. So that we have to write. So next one, what is a lubricant? Lubricant means a substance which is used to reduce friction between the two moving surfaces. It is known as lubricant. So when we take any two moving surfaces, say two moving surfaces, and we will use the lubricant. We will use the lubricant which will reduce the friction. It will reduce the friction. So what is the lubricant means? A substance which reduces friction between the two moving surfaces is known as lubricant. What is viscosity of a lubricating oil? What is the viscosity of lubricant oil means? So it is the resistance to the flow of the liquid. Viscosity is nothing but it is the resistance to the flow of the liquid. Means in oil, some of the molecules here it will have the opposite forces. Okay, so that is nothing but resistance to the flow of liquid. So what are the characteristics of a good lubricant? What are the characteristics of a good lubricant means we have to write here characteristics like a good lubricant should have a low flash and fire point. A good lubricant should have low cloud and pour point. A good lubricant it should act as a coolant between the two moving surfaces. Means it should reduce the friction. So we will write some characteristics of a good lubricant. So next, what is here define flash and fire point of a lubricant by Penske-Martin's method. So flash point means it is the lowest temperature at which the here we will get it is the lowest temperature the vapor of the oil will be converting into vapor and it will ignite for a second. Means the flame will be produced for a just the flame of the flash just it comes and goes. Okay, that is the flash point. Fire point means it is the lowest temperature at which when we are taking a flame near to the oil. So we here flash will be appears and here the burning of the flame it continues for at least for 5 seconds. That is known as fire point. Next, define cloud and pour point of a lubricant. So cloud point means that is the it is the lowest temperature at which oil it will be converts into semi solid semi solid paste like it is appearance so like a cloudy. Okay, so when liquid is converting into semi solid, that is the cloud point. For example, we got for example, if you are getting for any oil if you are getting -4 degrees centigrade, cloud point. So what is pour point means? Pour point means it is the lowest temperature. It is the lowest temperature uh, at which oil ceases to flow. Oil ceases to flow. Oil ceases to flow. Nothing but here completely the liquid converts into solid. Liquid converts into solid. Okay. So for example, you got minus 20 degrees centigrade. Minus 20 degrees centigrade. So that is the pour point. So we have to write define cloud and pour point of a lubricant. What is thick film and thin film of lubrication? So thick film and thin film of lubrication means, so here when we are taking between the two moving surfaces lubricant, so when we are taking between the two moving surfaces lubricants, a thick film is formed. So the film is 1000 angstrom thickness. 1000 angstrom thickness. So that is the thick film between the two moving surfaces. Between two moving surfaces. So what is thin film means? Between the two moving surfaces, here it is called boundary lubrication. So the film or layer is formed at the boundaries of the moving surfaces. At boundaries, a thin layer is formed. So at boundaries, thin layer is formed at boundaries. At boundaries. So next one, part B, long answer questions. First one, explain different types of polymerization reactions with examples. So we have to explain 3 types here. Addition polymerization, condensation and copolymerization. So take the example polyethylene And poly, here we can take the example nylon 66. Here we can take the example Bunais rubber. So three types of polymerization we have to explain. So first one is this like a preparation of polyethylene by addition polymerization. Next we can write nylon 66, that is condensation polymerization, and Bunais rubber, that is co-polymerization. So next one, compare thermoplastic resins and thermosetting resins. So thermoplastic resins, they become soft on heating and cool, like hard on cooling. Thermosetting resins, there won't be any change in these polymers because of the presence of strong covalent bonds between the polymer chains. Next, we can write these are we can reuse it, or we can go for recycling. Whereas thermosetting resins we cannot reuse it. No, we cannot go for recycling process. We can write the example for thermoplastic resins polyethylene, thermosetting resins we can write bakelite. So we have to write five 6 points for the difference between thermoplastic resins and thermosetting resins. Next, what is meant by compounding of plastics? Explain the role of ingredients used in compounding of plastics. So compounding of plastics means we have to write that to the polymer resins, we are going to add additives or ingredients to improve the property of the plastics. That is compounding of plastics. Explain the role of ingredients used in compounding of plastics. What are the ingredients we are using in compounding of plastics? Means we can write here, for example, we can write fillers and lubricants. So we have to write what is the functioning of the filler. We have to write the example. What is the functioning of lubricant? We have to write the example. What is the functioning of stabilizer? We have to write the example. What is the functioning of plasticizer? We have to write the example. So we have to take 6 to 7 ingredients. So coloring materials also we will use. So that is compounding of plastics. For each ingredient, we have to write its function with example. For example, you can take plasticizers to improve the flexibility and plasticity of the polymer material. We are adding plasticizers like we are adding tricrysyl phosphate. That we can write. Example, we can write tricrysyl phosphate to improve the flexibility and plasticity of the polymer resins. We are adding tricrysyl phosphate. So we have to write the function and example. So lubricants, we are taking oils. We are adding oils between the two, between the here what we are taking equipment. In the equipment we will add oils without sticking to the polymer material to the equipment. And here you can take we are adding a filler, okay, like wood floor. We are adding to improve the hardness of the plastics. So in this way we have to write ingredients, function with example. Explain briefly about thermoplastic and thermosetting resin with example. We have to write what is thermoplastic resin, what is thermosetting resin. Already we know what is thermoplastic resin, and these are the soft plastics. Means these are like forming polymer chains with weak bonds. Thermosetting resins, these are forming with strong covalent bonds. Thermosetting resins, example bakelite. Next, describe preparation properties and engineering applications of phenol formaldehyde resin. So we have to write here, we have to write the preparation. We can take phenol and formaldehyde. So we will get ortho and para hydroxymethanol phenol. To the ortho hydroxymethanol phenol, when we are going for polymerization process, we get a Novolac structure. So to the Novolac structure, again we will add formaldehyde and we will add hexamethylene tetramine. And when we are going for polymerization process, we will get the bakelite, that is the polymer material we are going to prepare. It is a cross-linked polymer. So that we have to write. So write preparation. So we know already what is the preparation of bakelite, and write the properties. It is strong and tough polymer and it is resistant to chemicals and atmosphere. And applications of phenol formaldehyde resins, so we can write, we can use this in manufacturing of switchboards, plugs, and we can use for water purification, etc. So next one, write here synthesis properties and engineering applications of nylon 66. So preparation already we know, synthesis nylon 66. So this we have to write, preparation. So properties we have to write, and applications of the nylon 66. Properties means it is also nylon 66. It is also strong and tough polymer, and it is also having good abrasion resistance. It is resistant to atmosphere. And applications will be, we will go for like manufacturing clothes. Okay, and next engineering applications of Teflon. So that properties will be, it is very strong and tough polymer. So temperature we can use up to 350 degrees centigrade. It will be very resistant polymer. It is resistant to chemicals and atmospheric conditions. So that are the properties. Applications means we can go for we can take non-stick pans, and stock of what we will take for the burettes, that is also prepared by the Teflon. So next one, describe synthesis properties and applications of the Teflon and Bakelite. So already we discussed, we have to write synthesis properties and applications of the here Bakelite already we discussed. Teflon, it is very simple. So we will take tetrafluoroethylene. Tetrafluoroethylene, a number of molecules. Tetrafluoroethylene. Tetrafluoroethylene. And we are going for polymerization process. Applying heat, pressure and catalyst. And we go for polymerization process. So we will get here Teflon. So this is polytetrafluoroethylene, or it is called Teflon. So explain the synthesis properties and engineering applications of the following. Polytetrafluoroethylene. So we have to write the preparation and we have to write the properties and applications. Next, polyvinyl chloride. We know already preparation. So this preparation we have to write by adding a number of vinyl chloride molecules, and we will prepare the polyvinyl chloride. So we have to write the properties. It is also strong and tough polymer, and it is resistant to chemicals. It is having good abrasion resistance, and we can write applications also. Polyvinyl chloride will make raincoat, helmets, etc. Next one, preparation properties and engineering applications of Bakelite. Already we discussed the preparation. We have to write these steps, preparation of the Bakelite. So first we have to add phenol and formaldehyde. We are mixing two chemicals. We are getting ortho and para hydroxymethyl phenol. So when we are taking this ortho-hydroxymethyl phenol and we are going for polymerization process, removal of water molecule will be taking place. We'll get a Novolac structure. To the Novolac structure, we will add formaldehyde and hexamethylene tetramine, and we go for polymerization process. We'll get here cross-linked polymer Bakelite. So that we have to write. So next one, explain about biodegradable polymers with example. So this example I have given here, biodegradable polymer. We are preparing lactic acid, polylactic acid here from corn. We are using corn. Okay, from that we are extracting starch and we are preparing lactic acid first. Then we are going for polymerization process. We are preparing polylactic acid. By using polylactic acid, we are going to prepare plastic spoons. Okay, after using the spoons, we will throw it. Okay, discard it. And here these materials, what we used, that will be decomposed by the presence of bacteria. And we are giving what we are getting the products is water and CO2. So that we have to write here biodegradable polymers. Taking the example, polylactic acid or polyvinyl acetate. So next one, explain the process of natural rubber and write the disadvantages of natural rubber. Okay. So here we have to. So process of natural rubber, we will collect the latex from the Hevea brasiliensis tree and we'll go for the process. Nothing but we will add for this milky liquid, we will add acetic acid and we will prepare the natural rubber. Like a polymerization process, we will get the polyisoprene, that is the composition of natural rubber. So that we have to write. There are two processes are there, crepe rubber and smoked rubber, and write the disadvantages of natural rubber. It is soft rubber, it is not resistant to chemicals, atmospheric conditions, it cannot bear the load, all that we have to write. So next, explain the vulcanization of rubber and write the advantages of vulcanized rubber. So we have to write the process, this vulcanization process, adding sulfur to the natural rubber. So then we have to write here advantages. Advantages means we can use vulcanized rubber, like we can use this like more temperature till 140 degrees centigrade, minus 10 degrees centigrade to 140 degrees centigrade. We can use vulcanized rubber. It is resistant to chemicals, it is resistant to atmospheric conditions, and it can bear the enough load applied to the vulcanized rubber. Next, what are elastomers? Explain the preparation properties and applications of Buna S. Elastomers means nothing but the polymers which are having the property of elasticity, that are called elastomers. We have to write. Then preparation properties and applications of Buna S rubber. So we have to write Buna S rubber preparation. So we are taking butadiene and styrene. We are going for copolymerization. Just we have to join the two different monomers. Okay, so here breaking of double bond will be taking place. Okay, so here one electron to this carbon, one electron will be here to this carbon, here also one electron to this carbon. Okay, unpaired electron, this is also one carbon here. So here double bond will be formed here for to this carbon to this carbon. So we are preparing Buna S rubber, okay, by copolymerization using sodium catalyst. So this we have to write. So now preparation properties and applications. So footwear components, manufacturing of tires, we can write applications of Buna S rubber. Next, what is synthetic rubber? Synthetic rubber is known as man-made rubber, that we are using the chemicals and preparing the rubber, that is known as synthetic rubber. We have to write preparation properties and applications of thiocol rubber. So this is the preparation of thiocol rubber. So using sodium polysulfide, sodium polysulfide, and here this is the ethylene dichloride. Ethylene dichloride will prepare the thiocol rubber. We have to write the properties. So we have to write the properties and applications of thiocol rubber. So next one, what are the characteristics of lubricant? We have to write a good lubricant should have good oiliness, low flash and fire point, low cloud and pour point, and it should reduce the friction between the two moving surfaces. So some points we have to write. Describe the mechanism of lubrication that is applied to delicate instruments. See, mechanism of lubrication applied to delicate instruments means we have to write here mechanism of hydrodynamic lubrication or thick film lubrication. So for delicate instruments like watches, clocks, seeing machines, that for that lightweight machines will go for going for mechanism of lubrication is hydrodynamic lubrication. Next, what is lubrication? Explain about thin film, thick film, and extreme pressure lubrication. Lubrication means nothing but a substance which is used to reduce friction between the two moving surfaces, and the process is known as lubrication. Write three types of mechanism: thin film, thick film, and extreme pressure lubrication. So next one, describe about mechanism of lubrication with example. We have to explain three types of lubrication. Explain the properties of lubricants with an E diagram. So here we have to explain the properties, like we have to explain about flash and fire point. So flash point and fire point. So then we have to explain cloud and pour point. We have to explain cloud point and pour point. Cloud and pour point properties. So next one, explain the properties of lubricants. Here clearly it is, the properties are given here: flash and fire point, cloud and pour point. Next, define viscosity. Explain about oiliness of lubricant. Viscosity means it is the resistance to the flow of liquid. We have to explain about oiliness of lubricant. Some lubricating oils, it does not form like a layer between the two moving surfaces. So the oil will be flowing out of the machine. Okay, it comes out of the machine. it does not stay on the surface of the moving on the surface of the metal. So we have to go for good lubricants which are having high oiliness. We have to write about oiliness of the lubricants. So here you have to write. So just mechanism of lubrication. Just so we have to explain about. Thick filling. So that is hydrodynamic lubrication. Next, boundary lubrication. So that is, so at boundaries, thin layer is formed. At boundaries, thin layer. So next, third one is extreme pressure lubrication. So that is it is formed like a thick layer is formed. Okay, with the chemical additives we are using. So that is we are going for extreme pressure lubrication. Extreme pressure lubrication. It is durable film is formed. Durable film, a stable film is formed. So next one, part C, problem solving and critical thinking questions. First one, why cannot thermosetting plastics be reused and reshaped? So why we cannot go for reusing and reshaping means because these thermoplastic resins, when we are preparing itself, it will be like a hard polymer where strong covalent bonds will be formed between the polymer chains. So when we are going for heating also, it does not change, means it does not convert into soft polymer. PVC is soft and flexible, whereas bakelite is hard and brittle. Why? So PVC is it is soft and flexible. Why? Because of the presence of weak bonds between the polymer chains or between the small molecules. Bakelite is hard. Why? Because of the cross-linked structure. Bakelite is a cross-linked structure where strong covalent bonds are formed. You can see strong covalent bonds are formed. Strong covalent bonds. Strong covalent bonds are formed. Cross-linked structure. So it will be hard. It is hard polymer. Bakelite is hard. Why plasticizer is used during molding of plastics? To increase flexibility and plasticity. We are using plasticizers. So next, why is Teflon highly chemical resistance? So why is Teflon highly chemical resistance means because we can observe here what is there here, fluorine. It is highly electronegative atom. So due to the presence of this fluorine, it is having highly chemical resistance. It is having highly chemical resistance. So temperature up to 350 degrees centigrade, it is a very stable polymer because of the highly electronegative fluorine atoms. What are the functions of lubricants and catalyst in compounding of plastics? Functions of lubricants means it will reduce the where that polymer material, it does not stick to the equipment of the fabrication. What we are using the equipment, the polymer material, it does not stick. And catalyst we are using to convert fusible resin into infusible resin. Fusible resin into infusible resin. For example, in thermosetting resins bakelite, we will get Novolac structure. Okay, Novolac structure. We will add hexamethylene tetramine catalyst. Why we are adding? Novolac is a linear polymer, fusible resin. We are adding hexamethylene tetramine. It will convert into cross-linked structure. It will convert into cross-linked structure. So we will use here. catalyst to convert fusible resin into infusible resin. So why thiol cannot be vulcanized? So why thiol cannot be vulcanized means here there is no double bond between the carbon. No double bond between carbon to carbon. So it does not undergo vulcanization process. So next one here, why does rubber become stiff? Rubber become stiff on stretching. So when you are stretching a rubber band, it becomes stiff. Why? Because the arrangement of the atoms will come in one order. It will become in order. So when you are stretching a rubber band, it becomes stiff. Why? Means the arrangement of the atoms, it will be in one order. Okay. So that is we have to write the reason why does rubber become stiff on stretching. Next, natural rubber needs vulcanization. Why? Because natural rubber is a soft rubber. To improve the hardness of rubber, we are going for vulcanization process. That is adding sulfur to the natural rubber and heating at 100 to 140 degrees centigrade will prepare the vulcanized rubber. Next, what should be the flash and fire point of a good lubricant? A good lubricant should have low flash and low fire point. Low flash point and low fire point so that we can avoid fire accidents in industries. Next, what is the significance of determining the pour point of a lubricant? So it is very important to find the pour point of a lubricant. Why? Means the oil in liquid state, it will convert completely into solid state. Okay, so we have to know when the oil is converting into solid. So that is the pour point. So that is we will determine by experiment. So that is cloud and pour point. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.